What's good, superstars? Back with another Cryptoys video. You got Joe, you got Rob, and you got Will in the house. How's it going, guys?
Oh man, those are some heavy punches you got there, Will.
Man, you've been working out or something?
Out of the hockey game. I'm ready to brawl like with that hockey vibe, you know?
There you go. Your Florida Panthers are kicking some butt over here.
Yep.
They beat up Rob's Toronto Maple Leafs, that's for sure.
Yeah, we were talking offline about that. That was surprising. It was very surprising. You know, not so that the Panthers would win because you had a lot of faith in our Panthers, but the fact that it was a sweep. I think that was the tough one.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, if you are new here, do not forget. Wrong screen. Become a superstar. Smash the subscribe button down below. Hit the bell notification so you know whenever we post. Whenever we have great AMAs with CEOs of Cryptoys and whoever else is on the channel, you're going to know when you hit that bell. Also, Superstar VIP $2.99 a month. Hit the join button underneath the video. Access to first dibs on merch. We give out a star in the universe at the end of every single month. Starnaming.com. So a bunch of other perks that come with it. So if you guys would like, you can join that. But today we're here for one reason. We're going to be asking you a bunch of questions. We've collected some from the community. Rob and I sat down a little earlier today and put some together as well. So hopefully whoever's watching this learns something about your platform and what they bring to this space. And I think it's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, stoked to be here, guys. Thanks for having me on. Excited to get into it.
Exactly. So, Rob, we're ready to start?
Yeah, let's start off. You take the
So,
first
Will,
question.
why don't you tell us about how Cryptoys came to be what it is today and maybe where you were before Cryptoys?
Oh, sure. So, yeah, I'll start there. I guess, born and raised in Miami, and I got started in tech when I was 13 years old. Well, always into tech and video games and whatnot, but really into like building websites and platforms when I was 13. I got my 1,000 hours of America Online via CD-ROM in the mail for the folks that are old enough to remember what that even means. And that's how I got on the internet and started making wrestling fan sites for people on GeoCities. I was a big WWF, WCW, NWO fan in the mid-90s. And just started making fan websites. Yeah, exactly. So I was just really into that and learned how to code at 13 years old, making websites for wrestling fans. And as soon as I knew I was able to make money from people around the world making things online, I was like, okay, I'm a creative guy. I want to do this. This is what I want to do. So I just was doing like odds and ends on websites and building websites for a few years. Then eBay became a popular site in the mid 90s. And I started showing mom and pop shops in Miami how to liquidate backroom inventories on eBay and use that platform successfully. So I did that. I went off to college at Florida State, came out of Florida State, started my first venture-backed company that was called Live Ninja. That was backed by Comcast Ventures, City Ventures, and a bunch of Miami angel investors. And that was like a video chat marketplace. So the idea behind Live Ninja was you were able to buy video chat sessions with experts on different topics. So you could buy Spanish lessons, yoga instructions, whatever you wanted via video chat. Long story short, ran that company from 2012 to 2017, sold that company in 2017, and then had an earnout with the acquiring company. And during that time, I built a little side project for my daughter, her idea of what the toy of the future would look like. This idea of, she was spending a lot of our money buying these random blind bag surprise unboxing toys, but she'd collect them and they just sit in the corner collecting dust after she'd open them. So I was asking her why, and she was talking about, they don't really do anything after you collect them. I was like, what would you want them to do? And she was obviously interested in this world of connected play, of taking toys and connect them into her iPad and interact with them in a whole variety of different ways and experiences. So we started ideating of what the toy of the future would look like in a digital format. And then, Luke quickly looped in, like that night, quickly looped in my co-founders from Live Ninja, Emilio and Alfonso. Emilio said, look, I know just the guy that could help us with this. His name's Freddie, and I used to work with him at Disney. And he's a 3D artist, and he'd be perfect for this. So Freddie came in, and the four of us started building this little side project called Cryptoys. This was around 2018 at the time. Nobody knew what an NFT was. So I'd go around town in Miami, and everybody'd be like, "Hey, Will, you just sold Live Ninja. What's your big next move? What are you gonna do next?" And I'm like, I'm not sure yet, but let me show you this digital panda that I'm working on. And they're like, uh-huh. I'm like, it lives on the blockchain. And they're like, uh-huh. Like, sure it does, bro. But like, these digital pandas, are they in the room with us now?
Yeah.
Kind of vibes. And but we love building it. We love building it for our kids, and we really believed in it because our kids believed in it. And then obviously from 2018 to 2020, just building it on the side, and then the NFT market started taking off in a big way with NBA Top Shot and a few other platforms, and we were getting some interest from some VCs and some partners. And I asked the guys, I said, hey, if I'm able to raise some money to start this company full time, would we all go and do this full time? Because we all have full time jobs and families to support. And they said, yeah, if you can go ahead and raise the money, let's go ahead and do this. We want to build this company. Absolutely. So I went and started looking into raising some funds. And it was at that time that I met JT, who's our other co-founder, and we started getting interest from investors. And so we incorporated On-Chain Studios as the parent company to house Cryptoys, the project and platform. And we all just got kicked off like formally as a real official company in about April, May 2021. So it's just about 2 years of working full time on this, and it's been a dream come true. Having a blast.
Awesome.
Yeah. That's incredible. Of course, you said about your daughter; she must have been a forward thinker because she has the imagination. Nothing blocks. Nothing blocks your thought.
I tell people, like, again, I'm just keeping the CEO seat warm for her. As soon as she's 18, she's coming in and kicking me out.
Yeah, no restrictions of what can't be done. If you can imagine it, could be done.
That's right.
So how much has changed for you since the announcement of Star Wars partnership, specifically in terms of active users? Do you have like an exact number of how much more users now have onboarded your platform ever since that announcement?
Yeah, I mean, I can't give exact numbers, but I'd say we've grown the user base substantially since the Star Wars announcement, which is crazy because it was only, 2 to 3-ish weeks ago, and it's been awesome to see the reaction, it really has grown the awareness, I say, of the platform quite a bit. We have a passionate fan base and user base and community that was already there in the Discord and registered and buying Cryptoys, whether it was our IP or Masters of the Universe. But Disney really brought a whole set of new eyeballs to the platform and new folks that we're really excited about. So it's been nothing but good vibes and momentum ever since, and we hope that can continue because we're putting a lot of energy and a lot of time, effort, hours, money into making this the best platform possible. And it's the community at the end of the day that fuels all of this. So we're so excited about the reaction so far.
Yeah, and we're part of that community. We're really excited to see what comes out, and as it comes out, we're going to be there covering it as it comes. But we've seen scalability issues with other projects in the industry. Some things come and they come in waves and they come quickly. How does Cryptoys address scalability issues, especially with the growing demand for NFT blockchain technology as more and more average Joes get used to the tech?
Yeah, and just to your point about your videos, we love your videos, guys. We watch every single time it hits. Yeah, cheers, brother. I got my Grogu cup. It's around here somewhere. But yeah, we love your videos, and we post them in the team Slack channel every time they're posted. So thank you guys for all your coverage. It's been amazing. Scalability, I'll say, I don't know if you're asking on the technical scalability or just meeting demand and consumers, but I'll just kind of try to answer both. The tech scalability, we've been working really hard. Again, we really dive deep full time on this platform, building it up about 2 years ago. And, our team led by Emilio, our CTO, has done an incredible job building something that can scale to millions and millions of users to handle the traffic, but also something that's very simple for people to onboard and use. If you've never even bought an NFT or interacted with an NFT, know what an NFT is or know what blockchain is, you'll still be able to buy Cryptoys as easily as you're buying something from Amazon. So if you look at the checkout process of Cryptoys, it's super seamless. It's got Apple Pay built in, Google Pay. It's really, really simple to use. You could check out in less than 30 seconds. No need for a wallet or any crypto experience. And then, we see ourselves a little bit differently than anything that's hit the market so far. We see ourselves as a digital toy company. First and foremost, we're a digital toy company. And the way that I like to describe it is if you took a toy company like Mattel and a gaming company like Nintendo, and if those two companies had a baby, it would be Cryptoys. And that's how we see ourselves. We see ourselves as a digital toy company first, and not an NFT company first. We happen to use NFT technology and blockchain technology for these assets, so everybody has complete ownership of the assets themselves and the toys themselves. So if you're a digital toy company and you're aiming to be the world's premier digital toy company, you need to create a product that's accessible, both from a tech perspective, but also from an availability perspective. If we announce Star Wars and only 5,000 people can get them, you're going to have a lot of unhappy people that come to the platform. Sure, you might have 5,000 users that recycle on trading back and forth, but if we all want to grow this space to the potential that we all think this space can get to, we need to have availability and just ease of use for people. And again, it's not going to happen overnight, but it's a journey that we're all going to be on together. So, that's how we think about availability and scaling. Look at a toy company or a collectibles company, a physical one. If you were to say like, hey, there's only a few thousand of these forever. If there's only a few thousand Pokemon packs that ever existed, that brand would never be that brand, because it wouldn't have. A lot of kids wouldn't be able to get that for Christmas. A lot of kids wouldn't be able to get that over the years and fall in love with that brand if there was only a few thousand of them. So, we're trying our best to create, new IP and legacy IP and bring some cool stuff, and just it's a different take on the NFT market, but hopefully a refreshing one. And everybody has their own different approaches, and this is ours, and we hope it brings something unique to the table.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you brought up ownership, because that's always been a big topic in the space. And we understand that you will eventually be allowing exports from your website into your own personal wallets. So has Disney and Star Wars as a licensor ever been resistant to allowing that, to have people actually bring that their IP into their own personal wallets, or will it be limited to only certain IP that you offer?
I'll talk about just licensors and our partners in general. From that standpoint, like everyone has their own unique vantage points on the space. I say every single licensing partner that we work with has the desire to embrace this industry whole on and meet the customers where they are. So it's all about like just doing this methodically in the right way. I think a lot of consumers will think about like, true, full custody, self-custody, etc. There's a lot of like, ripple effects that happen once you do as a licensor that consumers probably don't think about. They probably think like, okay, why isn't it this easy for us to snap our fingers and have true ownership and full custodial custody of it? But from a licensing perspective, if you think of a company like Mattel or Disney or any big one, there's a lot of things that they have to go through from a consideration standpoint to make that happen in the right way. But I would say that every single licensing partner we work with wants to meet their customers where they are and are very willing to work towards getting there. So we've had really productive conversations on that front, and we're really excited to release our own support for third-party wallets here in the coming months. And we've had a lot of support from all of our partners in that regard. There are certain things you just have to keep in mind when you're dealing with these publicly traded companies that have a lot of things to do methodically with the IP that's been around for generations. It's just as important to do it the right way in lockstep with these partners, because you want these partnerships to be long-term partners for a very long time, and you want them to embrace the space also. You don't want to do things in a rushed way that doesn't work out and it's very short-sighted. You want it to be built for the long term. So I'll tell you that they are embracing things full on and are incredibly open-minded to doing things in a different way.
So when you say end of the year to have some third-party marketplaces, is that going to be a test run with Cryptoys IP, or going to be all-inclusive?
We want to do it as much as we can with all of our toys, right? So again, there's parameters in place that you have to abide by, but we're going to roll out third-party support, because third-party support for wallets allow a lot of cool functionality. For example, evaluate.xyz, who we're very friendly with, that's a live trading platform, not like from a selling standpoint, but like, hey, Rob, meet me in this room and we'll trade. I'll give you 2 Battle Cats for a He-Man, and you can see that transaction happen in real time. So, third-party wallets allow for a lot of fun stuff to happen in that regard. And, we're aiming it to get as much support across the entire collection for that as possible.
Cool. So obviously your toys or your digital toys have a certain look, right? They're almost like how Funko has their own look. Cryptoys have their own look. It's pretty cool. And you mentioned earlier about how On-Chain is kind of the parent company, and you have Cryptoys underneath it. Obviously, also this type of style or aesthetic will cater to certain demographic, and then other demographics will appreciate realism or that type of stuff. Does that open the door, because you do have this setup? Does it open the door for On-Chain to eventually open another company that may target realism, or is it strictly Cryptoys and that's it?
It's a great question. We have this structure so that we can have flexibility and do creative things in the future. There's a lot of proprietary tech that we've built for Cryptoys as we've gotten to this journey that we could easily spin out and create sub products around. So like Guardian controls are coming out, that we have a patent pending on Guardian controls that allow for, we're the first platforms that allow for people under the age of 12 to use the platform. And again, we got approval by the US Patent Office. So now it's patent pending with some really cool stuff that's coming. We have AI tools, so you could converse with your toys and interact with them in some unique ways. Those are all proprietary pieces of tech that we might decide to share that tech with other platforms one day. Right now, it's all inclusive on the Cryptoys platform, and that's how it's staying right now. But On-Chain Studios and that structure allows for those things to happen, and we'll do what we think consumers want. And we want to build a long-term company that's here for generations. So we'll make moves that allows for the longevity of the platform and the company to really thrive. So I'll say that on that front, a lot of options and levers that we can pull and exciting things. But Cryptoys as a platform is the entire focus of this company right now. And that aesthetic, by the way, remember, this was built on my daughter's love for these surprise unboxing toys. And that aesthetic, the chibi art style, is very popular for these lines of toys. And it's popular not just here in the States, but overseas in Asia, et cetera. So it really gives a lot of appeal. And the other thing that a lot of people don't really realize is the reason that we need uniformity across the line from a proportions perspective. Because if you had a bunch of collectibles, some are huge, some have long arms, some you're not able to do custom animations across the entire line. So for example, when we release emotes, which we will, there will be the functionality for you to take emotes across different toys. You could only do that if they were proportionally equal across because you have rigs for your animations that have to connect certain joint points. So if you look at like Fortnite, for example, the reason you're able to do emotes in Fortnite is because they're all proportionally the same. The limbs are the same, etc. So think of Cryptoys the same way. So we need uniformity from a proportion standpoint. You need to be able to inject these things in different experiences. So very much a la Roblox, the proportions are the same. Cryptoys takes a similar account. So we do need uniformity across the platform to achieve the vision and the experiences that we're going to give to customers.
Cool. So part of that vision, I know we have the metaverse kind of style in there. You can bring your crypto into that kind of open space.
Yes.
And the goal is pretty much to have gamified utility. So are all of the collectibles going to have gamified utility? And in your opinion, do you think collectibles that do not have utility will eventually just be worth nothing? Will it go down to zero?
No, I wouldn't say that. I would say collectibles have their own place. Can you play with a Funko Pop? Not really, but it's an awesome collectible and there's a big market for it. I collect, by the way, I'm a Funko Pop fan. Dude, right there. I have that one in my son's room. I'm a big Funko Pop fan. I got a whole set right there. It gets a little bit out of focus, but I got a whole set. I got even Grogu right here.
Nice.
This is the meditating Grogu.
Oh, it's sound too.
Yeah, it was sound.
Oh yeah, that's the sound edition. But it's a cool collectible, right? So there are things that you can. So I wouldn't say that. I think collectibles will always have their place, even if they're stuff that you can't interact with, right? We're focused. You said gaming, right? Not gaming. I would say take a step back from gaming, and I would say interactive experiences, like more so that than anything else. Because can you consider AR a game? Not really. It's an interactive experience. Can you consider chatting with your toy a game? It's more an interactive experience. We're focused on creating fun interactive experiences for you as the customer and the consumer to do with your toys. Some of that will be gaming, Some of that will be light interactivity, where you just kind of run around and explore. Can you consider kind of running around and exploring games? Some people might say, hey, that's just light interactivity. Other things might be mini games, like kind of Mario Party style. Other things might be AR. So like we span across interactivity, because that's our goal as a digital toy company. It's how do you play with these toys in fun, unique ways, and pushing the boundaries of that. Mm-hmm. So for example, like there's the interactive area that you've seen that we call the block. These Star Wars toys, we're building a custom block experience for Star Wars toys. Yeah, I don't think I've announced that before on any other platform, so that's a first here. So that's a custom experience. It's not launching at launch. That's coming at a later date. So we're building, and we wanted to build something really special for Star Wars, because on the current block, you can't have items or accessories on the block. Like if you notice, when you spawn He-Man, he doesn't have his sword. He doesn't have, Skeletor doesn't have his staff. So on the new block, it's item supported, and we'll be able to do some custom animations and things like that that we're really, really excited about. So there'll be a custom Star Wars block coming soon. And yeah, we're just always like trying to think, pushing the boundaries of interactivity with these toys. So that's kind of where we hang our hats.
Cool. You just mentioned a little bit about how you're going to upgrade the block. Any plans? Like say you were to drop a collectible, people buy that collectible and you get maybe a little bit of negative feedback, or maybe something wasn't quite right at the final thing. And people, obviously you're going to have people more eyeballs on it, looking at it. Is there going to be potential for you guys to change or upgrade existing collectibles, or would it have to be something that comes out in a new drop? Like how would that work?
As far as aesthetics or functionality?
Both, either way.
Yeah. So aesthetics, we never really took a stance on it, but like we try to keep things as, as true to the original drop as possible. I mean, I think if there's a bug or something, an issue with it, we'd probably want to clean that up for the sake of the user. But there's a smart contract component to this. So there's different things. You have the way that it appears on the Cryptoys platform, which you can make updates to in real time. Like if you're plugging in that NFT, okay, how does this appear in an actual game or an environment? But then there's the image and the video that's written on the smart contract, and that will always persist, so
change it.
Two different things. So we might fix a rendering thing potentially in game, but what's on the smart contract we'll keep, obviously from a provenance perspective, and hopefully if there's an issue with it, it's kind of like if there's a typo on a Pokemon card, it's worth more for whatever reason. Who knows? Maybe that's the case with these. But we always strive for quality with Cryptoys on that front. Now, from a functionality perspective, you're talking about now one of the beauties of digital toys and digital collectability. So I've made this comparison before. I drive a Tesla, and I get ranked on by a lot of car enthusiasts for driving a Tesla. Like the traditional car enthusiasts, they're like, bro, you don't drive a car. You drive a glorified golf cart. Or, bro, you don't drive a car. You drive a cell phone with wheels. That's basically, or an iPad with wheels. That's what a Tesla is. And I get it. The purists don't think of it as a car because it doesn't have a combustible engine, right? It doesn't run on fuel. It's not a car. But I think it's the greatest car in the world. Why? Because I could wake up on a Wednesday morning and the car has new functionality and features by downloading new software over the air. And that never existed before in the car industry. You bought a car, you wanted the new stuff, you better be ready to buy a car 3 years from now when the new stuff ships if you wanted new features on the car. But all of a sudden, the Tesla's always updating. It's always getting better. And to me, that's the car of the future. And we like to think of ourselves as the toy of the future, right? So it's like the Tesla of toys is how we like to think of Cryptoys. Like you might have a He-Man Cryptoy that could do one thing on Tuesday, but you wake up on Wednesday and all of a sudden your He-Man has new functionality. That's cool. So, we love to think of it that way and deliver more value as we go to our users.
Awesome.
And speaking of value, the communities definitely care about the ability to buy and sell the collectibles. Yeah. I think we heard from another stream or from your roadmap that a third-party marketplace should be open by the end of 2023. It is a big question. We wanted just to ask for an update. Is that still the plan, that by the end of 2023, we can expect to be able to buy and sell these collectibles on a third-party marketplace?
Yeah, that's the goal. 100%. I mean, we need the third-party wall support feature, which will come. That will allow you to plug into select third-party marketplaces. That will allow you to buy, sell, and list. And then you'd have the functionality to then transfer it back to your custodial Cryptoys account for more functionality on the platform, or transfer it out. That's the goal. So we have a native marketplace strategy, and a non-native third-party marketplace strategy. So we want to provide both, and there's important reasons to provide both. So we're actively building both right now, and as of right now, my vantage point, it looks like third-party marketplace support will hit before native marketplace support will hit. So, but if something's to change, I'll let you know. But that's looking good right now.
So hashtag soon, as we like to say. So that third-party marketplace stuff, that's going to be with the flow chain, and like I think you mentioned Dapper wallets or any other wallets that are work with the flow chain, right?
Flow, yeah. So typically Dapper Wallet's a big one. Blockto's another one. There's a few other flow-based wallets, and I think you might see MetaMask supported soon. You never know.
That was the question. Basically, is there going to be any kind of that being able to pull it to different blockchains or into MetaMask or something like that, like in the future? I know it's like still new technology, but
we believe the future is multi-chain. I think we again, if you're listening to this stream right now and you're excited by this stuff, you're an early adopter. This is very early on the adoption curve, and I believe truly that consumers, when they interact with Web3 and NFTs, they're not even going to know it's an NFT. Like mainstream consumers, the tech's going to be hidden in the background. It's like similar to an MP3. Like back in the day when MP3s were announced, everybody's like, let's download an MP3 and get an MP3 player. Nowadays, people just listen to music and they don't know if it's an MP3 file, a WAV file, or whatever. I think NFTs are on a similar trajectory, and I think folks will buy it. Like if you can imagine, like you have to create the best user experience possible first and foremost, or else people don't even care. The masses, I'm talking about the masses, not the early adopters, right? So I always give this example, like if World of Warcraft, if you logged into World, and that has one of the most passionate user bases around, if all of a sudden World of Warcraft announced that they were now on the blockchain, and you logged in one day, and a user that doesn't care about blockchain and Web3 woke up, they logged into World of Warcraft, and it says, big announcement, all your assets and items and accessories and weapons are now on the blockchain. You fully own these items. People would be like, okay, that's awesome. That sounds really good. I fully own them. Next. Cool. And they'd move about their lives. They think it's cool, but they wouldn't care if it's on Ethereum, Solana, Flow, or World of Warcraft chain. Blizzard could make something up on the spot because there's enough great user experience. There's enough liquidity, meaning enough attention and interest in World of Warcraft, so people trade assets, whether it's on blockchain or not. And then the fees are low, and that's all people will care about at the end of the day. So that's my trifecta: is if you have a great user experience, your fees are incredibly low, and there's true liquidity, and you can buy and sell, and there's enough on both sides, you're going to be fine. So create the best user experience and use the blockchain that allows that to happen. We think it's Flow, but everybody can use whatever they think is best.
So security is a major concern for digital collectibles or anything else in the cryptocurrency space. Obviously, right now you're kind of a closed system. You want to open up third-party marketplaces and all that. Yeah. How does Cryptoys address security issues and ensure the safety of user funds and transactions in the future?
Yeah, I mean, right now that's paramount by keeping it on the platform, right? Because if somebody has an issue, they can call support. If they can't find their Cryptoy or something got lost or there's a rendering, they can call us or email us or jump in the Discord or hit us up on Twitter. Once it's non-custodial and it's up to them to have custody, and they want to have custody and they transfer it up to them, it's a little bit harder. And that's an educational component of this Web3 blockchain-based movement is, if I have my Bitcoin on Coinbase, there's pros and cons. If I have my Bitcoin on Coinbase, sure, I don't have full custody of it. I'm trusting Coinbase that they have my Bitcoin when I want to transfer my Bitcoin. It was easy for me to buy, but I could also contact Coinbase if I have an issue. If I transfer my Bitcoin out of Coinbase and into my MetaMask wallet, there's a pro to that too. I have full custody of it, but if I click the wrong link, if I get phished out of it or something happened, I got scammed or whatever, Coinbase, what are they going to say? Sorry, that's the blockchain. Pros for good or for bad, that's the blockchain and full self-custody. So it's on us as an industry, not just as Cryptoys as a platform, to educate people on the pros and cons of this. We believe that true digital ownership is incredibly important, and we want to provide all the tools that allow people to learn about it and to get to that if they want to as an intermediate step. Okay, the beginner step, most people are buying their first Bitcoin on Coinbase, but if you want to take that next step and be self-custody, go for it. Same with Cryptoys. You'll probably buy your first Cryptoy on the platform, but if you want to take self-custody of it, that'll be your choice. And hopefully we give you enough education and enough guidelines and parameters that you're safe out there when you do have self-custody, with your assets. Security is a big deal. And I would say at least when you're on the platform in full custody, you have a huge team behind the platform that is focused on security every which way. So that's just the nature of Web3,
Yeah. So we've seen a bunch of regulations being dropped for cryptocurrency in general, like even within the state and all over the world. How does Cryptoys navigate this regulatory landscape? And are there specific challenges that you've encountered already? Like how are you guys dealing with it?
I think, the first thing to realize is that things are evolving as we speak. There's congressional hearings, there's meetings, there's discussions amongst politicians that are happening right now in this moment as you and I are having this conversation. And what I've found is that, it's not as big of a wall in front of you and any congressman that you want to talk to that could help evolve the space in a big way. Like, we were just at one of our investor conferences and they had a bunch of congressmen from different states on the stage talking about regulations and all these different things that are meant to protect folks, like what happened at FTX, which is a great example of, hey, we need more regulation. Hey, there needs to be more laws to protect the end consumer. I think we all agree, in that. But there also has to be an openness and a willingness to evolve and embrace this new digital frontier, because lives are getting more and more digital, and custody and ownership are going to be incredibly important, not just our generation, but especially to the next generation and the generation beyond that. And I'm, at least from my vantage point, very refreshed to see congressmen and politicians be so open to having the conversation with folks like me and other folks in the space to evolve legislation and make things better. So, things will evolve over time, just like when the internet was created, and at least the consumer internet phase, like in the 90s when people got online for the first time on dial-up. Yeah. All of a sudden there were new laws created felt like every week about canned spam laws on email, like what we were able to do via email. When email started to get popular, all of a sudden you were hit with a new, law on you have to have an unsubscribe button by law in your email newsletters. It was like a new thing. And it was like, all these things will happen. Web3 will have its own flavors, and we'll just evolve together. But I'm bullish that people are embracing the space as a whole, and consumers and people will be the biggest voices for how we evolve over time.
Okay, so like a follow-up there then is once you do get this third-party market or even on your platform market, is KYC something that's going to come with that? And how early on in the process will people have to do that if it's going to be part of it?
Yeah, we're still designing that flow to make sure that we want to create as little friction as possible while making sure that we check all the boxes as much as possible. So let me just say that if you're a Cryptoys user, trust that you have a very outspoken product leader on the team that is making sure that there's as little friction and a great user experience as much as possible. But then you also have really smart legal folks on the team that want to make sure that our bases are covered so that there's longevity to the platform as much as possible, right? So it's about meeting there in the middle. The flows, I can't say one way or another just yet, but there's iterations on both sides to have a happy medium,
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and we understand from listening to some other streams that Mattel is more than just a licensor to you, that they're actually investors within Cryptoys. Like, what's the story behind this? Like, how did that involvement happen with Mattel?
We were introduced to Mattel by a mutual connection, somebody that Mattel knows and somebody that we know. And our goal's always been to build the world's premier digital toy company. And I think when you have that stance, a lot of toy companies will take note, so we were in a very interesting and fortunate position to chat with a lot of the biggest toy companies in the world around that time. And we met with all the leaders in the toy industry. And it was just clear from day one, when you met with Mattel, that something was really different about this company, that this was a very forward-thinking, innovative company. some of the toy companies we spoke to, it's like old school toy industry, been in the toy business for 100 years, very kind of set in their ways on like, oh, digital won't be a thing, and like this and that, blockchain, and I don't know. And like Mattel's like, we focus on what the consumer wants and meeting them where they are and building innovative products that kind of further the concept of play. The theory of play is that it's going to evolve over time. People will play with things in different ways. And Mattel was just the most open-minded, most like forward-thinking out of the bunch. So we left the calls with Mattel being like, that's the company we want to partner with. And the feeling was very mutual. Like they looked at us and, you know, they had a lot of Web3 and NFT projects pitching them for their IP and their licenses. And they said, you know what? We've been pitched and approached by a lot of companies. Nobody gets toys like you guys. Like you guys get toys. And again, we double down on that. Like we are a toy company, and like we're not trying to boil the ocean, so to speak. We're not a mile wide and an inch deep. We are fully focused on creating the best experience for the future of the toy industry and for toy collectors and consumers. So that's how it came about. And you know, we hit it off, and they were just like, hey, we don't want to just be a licensing partner. We want to be more than that. And that's how the whole thing got started. And it was awesome.
Nice.
Great.
So since they are more than a licensor, they're an investor.
Yeah.
How involved are they in the day-to-day? Like, are they involved at all? Do they give you full reign? Or do they have decision-making abilities when it comes to other drops, or is it only their IP? Like, how's that work?
They're so involved that we talk to them on a daily basis. As we're chatting here, I got a text message from one of my contacts at Mattel about a great idea that they want to do, and they're super supportive. I think they let us kind of play offense, like, hey, what we think is best and what we think people will like, and I think that's the best kind of partner that you would ask for. So, you know, we come to them with a lot of different ideas, and they're very supportive with also trying to help us grow as much as possible. There's a lot of like distribution stuff that they help us with. There's a lot of initiatives that we can't talk about just yet, but that you'll see coming in the coming months that will help grow the brand through the Mattel channels. They've just been awesome. They're the dream partner, you know, for us, for sure.
Nice.
So is it fair to say that all Mattel IP is up for grabs for you guys?
Yeah, I think you could say that. I think they provided a lens where they allowed us to say, hey, and this is on the initial calls with them. They said, like, if you could write a wish list of what IPs you would want, what would be that wish list? And I wrote them one, and they said, let's get started. And
Wow.
The first one was Masters of the Universe, for obvious reasons, because it's very nostalgic IP that a lot of us grew up on, and we really decided to work on IP that we can do justice of because we're fans ourselves. Like, we have to really know the brand. So it's something we have to hold true, and Mattel has been giving us the green light on all these different IPs. So stay tuned on that front.
Nice. So one of the things that we really appreciate that you guys have been doing are these little art team live streams. Like, fantastic. We love it. We tune into every single one, and we love getting to know the team.
Yes.
You've shared a lot of the team throughout the couple of different streams that you've had, but some of the people that have even worked for Disney, you mentioned, or Lucasfilms, the guy with the red beard, I forget his name, Neil, right?
Yeah.
He worked on some of the Star Wars movies. I learned that in the last one. They must have some kind of relationships, obviously, with those brands or whatever that they've been working at before. Have you ever considered having maybe some of the IP licensor team people on those streams to maybe talk?
We'd love that. Let's see what happens on a future stream. It'd be awesome to get more partners on. We'd love that.
Yeah, that'd be interesting for sure. And then moving on as well to the whole idea of what the customer wants, right? So transparency has been a crucial thing in terms of building trust in the digital collectible industry. How does Cryptoys ensure transparency in their operations, including disclosing important information to their users?
I mean, we want to be as transparent as possible to the extent that we're legally allowed to. You know, for example, there are deal terms and contract terms that you can't disclose. You have NDAs and things like that. But when it comes to product, the goal is to be as transparent as humanly possible. And it's really the community that drives a lot of our decisions. So it's of our best interest to be as transparent as possible, as much as we can from a contractual perspective and from a product perspective, to help us make the best product possible. Like, we have a hypothesis, as product people on what we think will be awesome. But I think it's on folks like you guys and the rest of the community to really tell us, hey, that's on the money, or I think about this in a little bit of a different way. So you could already see by the vibe of like, I just went in the Discord the other day and I'm like, what do you guys want to see as improvements to your backpack? What would you like to see there, and how could we help build it? So transparency is key. It's a key tenet of blockchain and Web3. So it needs to be a key tenet of our company as well. So yeah, we will strive for as much transparency as we can give.
Yeah, like some examples would be, are there any, do you hold back any mints for yourselves? So if you're going to drop, 5,000 mints, do you hold back 50 of them? Do you hold back 90? And then, are you open with that in terms of before the drop, exactly what's being held back?
Yeah, we are holding back a small number for promotional purposes, which I think almost every, project does for good reason, to do giveaways and give giveaways and stuff like that to some folks from your community and to others. So there will always be stuff that's held back from promotional reasons. We'll always disclose it. The one thing that I'll say for sure is we don't hold back certain mint numbers or anything like that. That's like, when somebody came up to me and said like, hey, will you ever hold back low mint numbers? And I'm like, no, I mean, we'll hold back cubes, but it's random. We don't know if they all could be whatever serial number are in there. We don't have like an order of that we hold back or anything like that. So yeah, we'll be transparent with all those for sure.
Cool. Okay. Marketing, I guess. Have you guys hired any celebrity influencers or reached out to anybody to maybe utilize their power to help get the brand out there?
Yeah, we have a lot of stuff that we're working out with various influencers for sure. So you'll see those come out hopefully here in the next week or so, I would say, in line with the Star Wars drop. It would be a disservice to our team and our community to not try to spread the word as much as humanly possible. But we look for folks that are really aligned with what we're building. So the folks that we work with are Star Wars fans, that are tech fans, that are fans of this type of product, because authenticity is of the utmost importance. I'm not going to use marketing budgets or anything like that to get folks that are just like, hey, let me tell you about this thing that somebody paid for, et cetera. Yeah. So yeah, we definitely will, and we want to grow the community as much as possible so everybody can enjoy it as much as possible.
All right. And I guess further to that note, obviously we talked about celebrities, but how about when we get down to like the everyday user? Is there going to be opportunity for people via affiliate links or something like that where they can bring people in, even if they bring in their family or whatever? They don't have to have a YouTube channel or anything like that.
Correct. Yeah, we have a Cryptoys ambassador program that's going to be launched pretty soon that will allow folks to join, kind of partner up with us so that we can do affiliate link sharing and things like that. So expect that to hit very shortly.
Cool.
Have you started or plan to start marketing directly to fandom groups, like such as the ones that you see on Facebook, the Facebook group of 15,000 of a specific set of IP, or going to fan expos or anywhere else true fans will be? And how will you convince these non-NFT people to adopt your platform?
Yeah. So I think we want to be everywhere where the customers are. So we take every platform into account: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, any platform. We want to make sure that we have a presence on to grow the brand and to make this community as strong as possible. So we take that very, very seriously. And then the second part of the question, remind me?
Well, it's the idea that there's going to be a lot of people who may be fans, but they may not be familiar with third-party marketplaces.
Oh, 100%.
So they're non-NFT people.
Oh.
So how do you what's your plan? And we kind of touched upon it before, but to adopt your platform specifically, what's that plan?
We think that's going to be the majority of folks. Like, again, if you look at like the total addressable market of like folks that are have active blockchain Web3 wallets and that are digital collectibles, like, again, we're super early to this space. If you look at that compared to like the video game market or the action figure market, like, it's so small. So you have to go out there and educate new people about why this is great. We want to be the first digital collectible for many people. And we have to be as accessible as possible. With that becomes conversation. You're never going to be able to like say one thing and automatically everyone converts. People will naturally have questions. So the goal is to have as many conversations as possible at scale. And we love to have those combos with people. We love going to Comic-Cons and saying, hey, are you guys interested in digital collectibles? And people saying, no, I would never. And then we ask why. and then you have a conversation and you realize that there was a complete misconception based on an ICO that their cousin got them into in 2017 that turned them away from crypto or anything with the word crypto, and you tell them these are two very different things. This just gives you full ownership of digital things, and they say, well, why wouldn't I want that? But you need to have that conversation at scale. So that's a big focus for us, is having that conversation at scale.
Okay, so I don't know, you probably haven't been watching our channel for the longest time. Obviously, we just met, but there's been something that went down for me on another platform where there was airdrop that was promised, and it was at this time we're going to take a snapshot. So I held all my stuff to get that snapshot. I sold it off, I think 18 minutes after the snapshot time, and I never ended up getting the airdrop. So it was after explained that, it takes a while to actually do the snapshot or something to that effect, which me and Rob very highly disagree with. But regardless, when things go wrong, how do you plan to correct errors with your user base if something like that were to happen? I am assuming that it wouldn't happen. You would have the tech in place to follow through with whatever you put out in your articles. But like how would you plan, or how would you deal with something if that happened on your platform?
I mean, we pride ourselves on having one of the best support teams in the business. Like, if you go onto our Discord, first of all, you could tweet at us if you want to do that. But second, if another way to get in touch is in our Discord, we have a support channel, and you'll see like Sabina, John, a few others there, even Poof and Steph will get involved and help if needed. So you hit us up, and that's kind of one of the benefits of a hybrid solution, is that we can help and look into things, and we'll make things right. That's it is of our interest to make you happy as a customer. And that's what we'll aim to do every single time. So, customer experience, user experience, customer satisfaction, you're nowhere without that. So that's critical. So if we said the snapshot was taken and you didn't get your airdrop, you DM me directly and I will make sure you get it. That goes for anyone.
The problem is that the rest of the people who got airdrops, and it's numbered, and everyone say like, there was only 502 of them, and then now there's 503, right? So I get where that blowback comes, but I mean, there should have been 503, that kind of thing.
There should be,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I love that. Thank you.
One thing we noticed, we did an opening live on stream. And what we found is that when we were streaming with the website, we were experiencing lag off streaming. So in this video, if I pulled it up right now, we would have lag issues. Is there a plan to create like a lighter version, so that we, so that maybe it's more cleaner while you're streaming, or are you able to fix that? Like, what's your plans on that?
Yeah, we never knew about that until you guys did it. So like, honestly, you guys are helping us improve the product in real time, but we definitely took that link and shared it you guys are very famous inside the company at this point, because we just share all your content and look, we got to fix this. We've never seen that happen before. We do a lot of live streams on Steph's computer, for example, on my computer, and we do streams here on StreamYard, and then we've pulled the block before and it's worked. So but that's doesn't mean that we can't improve it. If it didn't work for you, that means that's going to be a lot of other folks that have that same experience. We just never caught it before. So 100%, that means we have to do a Unity-based optimization, just a resource management optimization. Something was chugging away at your resources, your CPU resources.
Yeah, my computer was Rob did it afterwards, and he was a little bit better, but it was it still had some kind of
interesting. So we'll have to, and Windows or Mac?
This one's a Windows, but I also tried it on my Mac, my new MacBook Pro, and it was cleaner there too. But similar to Rob's, a little bit just stuttery. It wasn't buttery, right?
Oh yeah, we have to fix that, no doubt. And thanks to folks like you, we can continue to get better.
Okay. You mentioned the obviously the third-party marketplace, but a lot of people, and I've seen it in the chat a couple times now, are looking at trading. Now I know you've talked about it a little bit. Do we expect the trading aspect, because there's people who buy the blind box and not the cheapest blind box, like $40, and they want every single collectible in there. They don't want to have two of the same one. Is that functionality going to be something that comes before the marketplace, or will it be further down the line?
I'd say it's going to come right around the same time as third-party wallet support. Third-party wallet support will enable a lot of these applications. The first thing that we're super excited about is evaluate.xyz. Check it out. It's a super fun live trading platform where I'll share a link with you guys and you'll meet me in there. We could chat, say yo, 2 He-Mans for a Battle Cat. Let's go. And like, you'll pop it up, and we could even trade other things. Like you could trade a NBA Top Shot moment for a Cryptoy, for example. Ooh. Which is super cool. So you could say, I'll trade you a He-Man and a LeBron James Top Shot moment for your legendary Battle Cat. We're gonna have a lot of fun, guys. It's gonna be fun. Nice. So a lot of folks are more excited about the trading aspect than even selling, because let's be real, a lot of us are in this. A lot of folks are in it, sure, for trading and all that, but we're here for the community. We're here to make connections, and at the end of the day, like, meeting folks like you and other folks in the community, like when we look at this space 5 years from now, we look back on moments like today, we'll remember more fondly these relationships that we made versus like, hey, did we get up 20% on this flip, or whatever the case may be.
Speaking of relationships, you mentioned the Top Shot thing. It got me thinking now. Does that mean that, like, obviously we know you guys are working with Dapper?
Yeah.
Does that mean that Top Shot may advertise Cryptoys and like vice versa?
Oh, well, Dapper Labs and Flow are incredible partners. You've seen the Flow blockchain account tweet about Cryptoys now multiple times. I'm very, very close with them. So, they help out in a lot of different ways. So expect to see more collaborations with those folks over there. They're not also just partners. They're investors in the company too. They're fantastic. I can't recommend them, higher.
I like what you said too about the whole community aspect of it. Like, it's not the trade itself you'll necessarily remember, but it's the being part of that community and meeting another member of that community. Since you're a car guy, when you do some car trades, you hear about all that stuff. Not necessarily to get the car you want, but when you're doing that trade, you meet another member of that community. Maybe you're 55 Bel Airs, whatever it is. So, anyways, it just made me think of that when you mentioned that.
That's what it's all about, man. And we're in this space for a long. Look. The relationship, and this is like the quote unquote bear market. By the way, even though if you would have told us like 15 years ago that, a picture of a Bored Ape would be still selling for $100,000, would be like, are you freaking kidding me? What bear market? That sounds insane. So like, it's all about perspective at the end of the day, right? Like if you were to tell people that like 3D collectibles, like some are trading for a few $1,000, like, which they are still today, people would think you're nuts. 5 years. So we have to have things in perspective. But at the end of the day, it's really all about those memories, and the person that you're making a trade with or have connected with during these times, even if you're not making a lot of money or whatever the case may be, 3 years from now might introduce you to somebody that unlocks a big business opportunity for you, because you're making so many relationships at this particular part of your life. I always say, like, when it comes to business and life, you want to maximize your surface area for luck. That's what's really, really important, right? So how many relationships can you create authentically where you're meeting new folks and you're just passionate, like, and then all of a sudden, you never know, 3 years from now, that one person that you did a trade with for one Cryptoy to another, nobody made any money, but they connected with each other, all of a sudden introduced you to some opportunity that made you a huge amount of money, or introduced you to your significant other, or whoever. We can't connect the dots looking forward. We can only connect them looking back. And I'm super bullish of what is happening now and what's going to happen because of all the relationships created in the space, because of just shared passion for digital collecting and Web3 and innovation.
Yeah, and that's some wise words from a CEO. You make your own luck, right? The more relationships you build, the more space you cover.
The harder you work, the luckier you get, right? But again, maximize your surface area for luck, right? So like, be out there, put yourself out there, create videos like this, send that DM, send that cold email, do an unsolicited favor for someone, maximize your surface area for luck, and you're gonna come out ahead at the end of the day.
Yep. And another question that we had for you was, like, we've obviously now started to study the company. We're tracking it. We're doing videos on it. So we're watching a lot of your streams. We're looking into a lot of things, but not everybody watching maybe is going to be spending as much time doing those things. Could you just give a quick rundown of, the order of your roadmap in terms of the new feature releases? What's coming first? What's your plan in that roadmap?
Yeah, we're actually updating the roadmap to be a little more accurate, because we've done a lot. And there was a roadmap that we had up that we've made so much progress since we posted that. So we're going to, redo it. I would say the things that are top of mind, because there's a lot coming. The things that are top of mind right now, we have a game already in beta testing. So you get the test flight there's ways to access that. You could already play the mobile game, so that's fun. A game is coming out. We have an AR experience coming out as well, so a really cool AR experience. We also have a Cryptoys native mobile app for iOS and Android coming out that will allow you to interact, buy Cryptoys using, Apple Pay, Google Pay natively, and then also have a game launcher. It will also have an AR experience, but will also be able to customize your Cryptoys in different ways. A lot of people don't know this. When you're buying your Cryptoy, you're getting a 2-for-1. You're getting the Cryptoy itself and the item. So you can look at it like, $39.99 for the cube, but you're not just getting one in there, you're getting two in there, right? So if you get Luke and his lightsaber, those are two. Right now they're attached together, but eventually you could decouple them, right? So in the Cryptoys mobile app experience, you're going to be able to accessorize in different ways and decouple. So that's another one that's coming. Our native in-game currency, which we're announcing, shortly, is going to be coming out later this year. We also have some cool AI announcements coming later this year. We have the Guardian control stuff coming later this year. We have, what else can I say? Play sets. We're working on play sets, so that's coming up. I can't give an exact date on it, but it's soon. And yeah, those are the things that are coming up top of mind. But there's so much more. As soon as I get off and I look at the roadmap, I forgot to mention that. But we'll post some stuff. We'll update the roadmap for sure.
We'll have to do another one.
Yeah. Items and accessories are a big one, by the way. A lot of folks. Right now, there's no item section in your backpack. Soon there will be an item section in your backpack, and we'll do also item packs as well. And by the way, we're going to do cheaper things too. Right now, everything's the hero tier, which is the best, most capable tier on the platform, $39.99. But we'll have the elites and the adventurers, which will also have more accessible price points. So
I wanted to jump on something you said there. You mentioned the mobile app coming out. Is that going to be something that you push away from people buying the Cryptoys through because Apple and the fees and all that, or is it something that doesn't matter to you guys how that goes?
We're going to meet the user where they are. We're figuring out the economics of it, but the goal is if you're at home and you're on your desktop and you usually want to purchase it there. But if you're at the grocery store and you get the notification that a drop's about to happen in 5 minutes, we want it to be easy for you to buy it there too. So,
and it'll be the price the same on both platforms, desktop.
Yeah, that's the goal. Again, we're still working with Apple and all that stuff, but that's the goal.
Okay. As the CEO, what's the vision for Cryptoys? Then you mentioned a little bit about how it came to be. Like, where do you see this company heading in the next few years, like the next 5 to 10 years?
Again, we want to build the world's premier digital toy company. That's really the mission. And the mission of On-Chain Studios is to empower the next generation. Basically, we have 3 pillars of the company, which is entertain, educate, and empower. So you have to hit those 3 things. Entertain, obviously, through the toys, through the games and all that stuff, but empowering and educating is super important as well. So how do you educate people in this new world that we're in, Web3, blockchain, digital ownership, and all these different things? How do you empower them with these tools? A lot of folks don't know this, but we have an SDK, a Cryptoys gaming SDK, that allows you to build Cryptoys-based games on. Right now, we're being built through select partners, but soon, we'll have documentation out. So anybody, with a computer can learn very quickly how to make a Cryptoys-based game and put it on the platform. Wow. And then generate revenue, through that game.
Roblox.
Right? Exactly. Right. So, but we have a little bit of different take on it, but it is coming. And, we want to be known as that platform, as the premier digital toy company that really changed the game when it comes to the toy industry and what people think of when they think of a toy, and just bring smiles and delight and happiness to people, and more of this, more community, more togetherness, more sense of belonging and connecting with like-minded people. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. So
nice.
Okay, and you know what? We've pretty much asked all our questions. We do have one final bonus question, and then we're going to just take a few from the live chat, and we'll go from there. You have proven that you can get IPs on this. You now have Star Wars. You have Mattel, right? You've shown that you can do this. So we have to ask, do you think we could ever see Pokemon?
Never say never.
Oh my God.
Okay, there we go. There you go. Never say never, right? We can always leave the door open. So, guys, thank you all so much for watching and putting in your questions. We're gonna go quickly to the live chat. We'll pull up a few questions here. There was one that our good friend Superstar Kid Arcade. He says, if a licensor doesn't want to meet the consumer, would you not take a deal? Say no to a licensor. Have you ever had to say no to a licensor?
We have said no to licensors. There's a few that we passed on. Cryptoys is a very unique product. It's focused on a very unique use case. And by the way, it's a massive investment on our side to make a line. We don't outsource. Everything's done in-house with our own artists and animators. And as you can see here, this is not like you do one model and it's like 3 different poses or something like that, or 5 different poses, right? This is an individual original model per rarity. So if you look at the Star Wars drop, you have Farm Boy Luke, right? Then you have Red 5 Luke. You have, Jedi, Jedi Knight, then Jedi Master. These are meticulously done, each individual one, and it takes time. It's not like just slapping a skin or a new pose on them and calling it a day. So it takes us on average 4 to 5 months to build out a whole line. So I'm committing my team to like really invest in that time, and that makes sure that I have a responsibility to my community to say no to things that won't have the most impact or that don't want to really be on the platform in the right way. So the answer is yes. We have said no to many licensors and opportunities because they just weren't a fit or they wanted to give us too strict of parameters.
Okay, I wanted to show this one up here. Sorry, this is Living Aloha. He also has a YouTube channel. Thank you for the donation. You don't have to do that, but mahalo superstars for the video. Mahalo Will for bringing a great platform. I do have a question.
Living Aloha, I got to give props to Living Aloha.
He's been pushing for you hard. Like he's one of the first that let us know as well. So
he or she, whoever there is behind that is amazing. Just props to Living Aloha. And every time I see Living Aloha, I need to book a trip to Hawaii. It's calling me. I need to get out there. I've never been, and it's just it's calling me. And every time I see him or her in the chat, it's just like an affinity. And I'm just so grateful, Living Aloha, that you're part of the community. Thank you so much for
living the dream. I wanted to ask you though, further to one of the answers you gave is, are there people on the team who have worked for like other top tier gaming companies? Like, so you have that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
all throughout the company, Activision, just like Riot Games. There's just so many. I can't even begin to list them. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, and speaking of the team, Alex and Crypto, Superstar VIP, Alex and Crypto, a very, very funny community member, always posting hilarious tweets and images. He wants to know how many developers and designers do they have in their team for the collectible and environment design.
So on the art and animation, I believe the team is approaching 25 now, full time. And these are all folks employed full time by On-Chain Studios and Cryptoys. So I'd say 25. They handle both. They handle the collectibles and the environment.
Okay.
Developers, those are artists and designers. So that I just said, you asked for developers, you could tack on like another close to 20 developers.
Nice.
Okay, well,
I can't find the question, but somebody asked about individual artists, or if there's going to be like an artist alley type of thing where I know you mentioned there's an items area in your backpack. Is there ever going to be something where maybe part of the community can put something to you and maybe you include it in the platform?
100%.
Nice.
Yeah, and that came from Superstar VIP Tron Skywalker.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
he's another strong
supporter of the channel. Tron Skywalker. Two of my favorite things.
He also donated. I think he gave us a donation. So shout out to you, Tron.
Nice.
And then one more from Kid Arcade. I think this will be our last one. He wants to know, can we customize backpacks?
Ooh, so the backpack, well, think about the word customization and what you mean, but a few things I'll hit on. Number one, we have a lot of improvements coming to the backpack. They'll be in stages, but like items, you'll see item support. You'll see just new like aesthetic to it. Stacking will also come in a future update, so you can stack all your duplicates, right? Then favoriting. The idea with favoriting is you could bring your favorites to the top, right, and see them, etc. And then the idea beyond favoriting is you'll eventually have a public profile where you can share the link to your public profile. There's a reason we didn't do that off the bat. It's due to COPA compliancy and privacy reasons. When you're trying to build an all ages platform that everyone can access, you have to have certain parameters around it. So it's private by default, but eventually there'll be a public view that you could share certain ones public, right? And then it's interesting you say customize the backpack itself. I don't know if this is what you were asking, but there will be patches like that'll come out, which are like benefits, like as you like do different things on the platform, and they look like fabric, like they're so tactile. It's like those old school backpack patches that you used to iron on as a kid. They look exactly like that. And the team killed it. Like literally, I see it. I feel like I could touch it. It's so tactile, and you'll be able to then, one day imagine your backpack with these patches all over the backpack.
That'd be cool.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. Okay, guys, if you haven't, if you just don't forget, May 24th, you're gonna have an epic new level of Star Wars, as they say. The drop, you're gonna have an amazing chance at 15 different collectibles here, guys. So if you guys are interested, May 24th, do not forget it.
Yep.
You can go to their website here, cryptoys.com, and most of you already do know this, but if you haven't checked it out yet, make sure you do check it out. And then, Will, I gotta say, you showed us why you're smooth, Will. Amazing job on the interview here. I mean, you answered all our questions. So, guys, I think it's time for a superstar standing O.
Well, go follow him on Twitter.
Hold on.
There's the standing ovation, even though you beat us up in the intro. You can follow him on Twitter. You can follow On-Chain on Twitter. You can follow Cryptoys on Twitter. Rob showed the Star Wars drop. Yeah, and that's it. I think anything else you want to say or close it out here?
Oh, no, I'm just grateful for you guys having me on the show. Thank you so much. It's great to you guys got an awesome community and thing. I've lost it. There we go. You guys got an awesome community and the vibes are incredibly high. And just want to thank everyone. First of all, you guys for hosting, but everybody that took time out of their day to come on the stream and submit questions. And if you're also watching this on recording, thank you for taking the time to watch the recording. It really means a lot. And yeah, check out Cryptoys. Like, please check out the platform. Try it out. Hit me up on Twitter if you did check it out. If you see us on the stream, say, hey, I saw you on Superstar stream, and DM me and we'll connect and I'll follow you back. I'd love to have a conversation on what you liked about the platform, what you don't, what we can improve on. And yeah, just grateful for all you guys. We're super early on this journey. And we're all in this together to build something really special. So just appreciate it.
Yeah, again, thanks for coming. We really appreciate your time. And to close out, like we always do, guys, if you haven't already, don't forget, become a superstar, smash the subscribe button.
Yeah.
Or if you hit the bell notification button, hit every single video, you got to hit the bell because you don't know what we're going to hit you with, right? We hit you with Will today, you know what we're going to hit you with tomorrow. So make sure you hit the bell notification and also Superstar VIPs, $2.99 a month, guys. Thank you all so much for your support. We appreciate you. Thank you, Will, for coming on. Take care, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.
Love you.